What's up, guys? Welcome everybody to the stream. Just a couple minutes late here. Lost track of time. Astrobait's in the house with Moobot, Mr. Slowhand. Welcome, guys. We got challenges from Mr. Slow. I can get to that challenge almost immediately. Just checking out my messages there. Alright, Astrobait. No Omega Streamer battle. That's right. Okay, Partey. What are we going to do? Just one stream on Sunday. Actually, I welcome it. I never have Sunday. I kind of welcome it because I never have Sunday much free time. So I wouldn't mind having a break 1 week with a streamer battle. It's in the middle of the day. It kind of gets in the way of stuff. So can't really do anything with that event in there. I like doing it, but I don't mind having a break. So I have 1 week off with no streamer battle. This is the decision of the organizer. Not my decision. Did you now receive my game for Thursday? I assume it's in there. Let me check. Let's just check here. Yeah, we got it in there yesterday. I don't know, I'm not getting notifications when I get messages for some reason, Mr. Slow. It's something to do with my browser. My modern browser is not displaying notifications. Alright, we're going to take this challenge, Weird Opening Wednesday. I am trying to play creative and different stuff. What are we going to do? C4. C4. C more butts. C4 butts. Alright, C4. Thanks, James. I know my stuff. They might be better looking than me, but I think it's kind of close. Yeah. Alright, C4. Pretty close, actually. Let's do the D6. No, B6 is my normal stuff. One line that I like to try to get in would be Knight F3, Bishop G4. A little bit out of the normal path of things, but he's not playing Knight F3. This isn't really strictly a totally unusual opening. Now it is. Ponda. You can always play H5 when one plays G3. D6 is not a bad move. This is provisional. A provisional opening. It's not that unsound. He's letting me play H4. I feel like White should probably try to stop that, or what's the word? Mitigate. I think Mr. Slow should mitigate against H5. Many people prefer H4, but I think it's also possible to play H3 or Knight F3 there. So I would definitely mitigate the danger. GP Bear, welcome. Guys, please remember to subscribe. Alright, D4, occupying the center. Now it's King's Indian, like he's played D4 and C4, no longer an English opening. I can play H3. Creating chaos in the white position with H3. The wedge. The wedge of death. I mean, that's the dual, the dual threat. I can take or push depending on what happens. I've had this happen in the white side of the Dutch. When I was playing against the Dutch, common strategy is to play H4, H5. Now here we're doing the same thing with black, essentially. Okay, anyway. Anytime one plays G3, it's not completely unsound to go for something like H5. Even G3, H5 on the first move is, while not entirely reliable, viable, in the sense that it's, I think, playable. Maybe not great, but it's playable. Now, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What if I play E5? What if we played an endgame like this, with that pawn wedged on H3? Is that a problem? Maybe not the main idea. What if I sack a pawn? Another idea. If I play it like a crazy gambit with pawn takes pawn knight c6, it looks like probably more effective here than it would be normally. Because of the fact that his development is disrupted by h3. I mean, this seems pretty viable. Crazy gambit style play this morning. Better than your standard England gambit with that pawn wedged on h3, preventing kind of normal development for white, I would think. Likely, like, it's going to be difficult for him to castle, certainly to castle kingside. Castle queenside not that desirable after c4. So we're getting pretty extreme here. Getting pretty extreme around here with the weird openings. Hardcore playing for the initiative. Alright, the point of the stream today is to have fun, play some interesting, creative openings. This is not completely unsound. Just somewhat unsound, like our wannabe VIP friend. Astrobate VIP in the house. You deserve it, man. You've been here almost as long as anybody, and you've been very supportive of our stream. Appreciate it, all of you guys. Okay, good morning. It's Wednesday morning, December 30th, 2020. Goodbye, 2020. We won't miss you. 2019, for that matter, sucked as well. 2018 sucked. So I've had 3 bad years in a row. Before that, it was going along pretty good. We'll see how 2021 stacks up. I think it can't get any worse, but that's always not true. Picking up the king. Now, we don't really want to trade queens if we can't help it here. I'm playing for attack. I'm going to play this like, well, queen e7 is now not the greatest square due to knight d5. Knight d5 is a bit of a problem. So my original plan of placing the queen on e7 isn't going to work. Not as well as we had hoped. Bishop e6. Perhaps. Could play something like bishop g4, but I think f3 might be a constructive move for white. I'm not sure. If he supports f3 and e4. Dubious openings today. Nepo played this against Carlsen. In what move order? Really? Like c4, d6, g3, h5? Has that actually been played? I'm just not quite sure what his intention is here. What is my intention here? Queen d7 looks kind of interesting. I was thinking not queen e7 because of knight d5, but queen d7, the alternative. Although it might, now that bishop g5 isn't possible, isn't possible. Maybe it's okay to play like knight f6. I didn't like that in some other positions, where I would get pinned by bishop g5. I'm triple protecting the h3 pawn. You're not getting that, man. That's the base of my entire game. Hinging on that pawn. Disruption of white position with h3. I mean, I'm not sure I would play as white did here, allowing h3, bishop f1. That's pretty unusual. Frankly, my dear. I don't give a damn. Pardon. Pardon. Mr. Slow. Thanks for the donation yesterday. How was your tournament overall? He did pull the trigger on b3. Okay. I was thinking about bishop b4. Obviously an idea. But life is not so easy. Don't really want to trade queens. Queen c6, unfortunately, knight d5. Queen c6, knight d5. Queen c6, knight d5. That might actually work. Queen c6, knight d5, and he'll go king f1. That's the problem, king f1. I don't really like king f1 coming into the equation. Holy crap. Queen c6, knight d5. Bishop b4 check, king f1. Preemptive. A preemptive strike. We do have a sizable lead in development. Not really sure. It's doing me a lot of good right here. Just yet. Sizable development lead. Bishop d5. Pawn d5. Queen d5. We're going to grab his rook. Rook grabber. Get out your rook grabber. Bishop g4 check is an unwanted surprise. What happens after bishop g4 check? He can't castle queenside. I just take it. He takes it. I play king d8. He's still kind of paralyzed, but obviously that's his only move. Yeah, this doesn't work. Bishop g4 check. It's still lost, fortunately. I didn't see it when I played the move, but White's got to play king e2. He's down the exchange with no clear real threat except for queen g7, which isn't the end of the world, I guess. So he's lost. Has this ever been played? Obviously c4 d6. So g3 h5. Only one example of this being played in 1997 by a 2200. But as I said, I think that you should make an effort to stop me from playing h4. The lobster defense. I would play either h3, knight f3, or h4 here. I think you allow too much disruption. Alright. Virat, Carlson, Sada, Masa. We're going to take the guys who are the people who are guys and girls. This is a family stream. Sada Masagana and Muleskin are both subscribers. I'm not sure about Virat Carlson. Oh, wrong time control. I'm going to have to abort this game. Sada Masagana, you got to challenge me to their correct time control. It's got to be 5+3 through 7+3. You're at 3+2, which is too fast. Anything between 5+3 and 7+3. Mule Skinner's challenge is acceptable. 3+2 is too fast. Alright. Please re-challenge me to appropriate time control. 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 6-3, 6-4, 6-5, 7-3. Anything in that range with an increment between 3 and 5 seconds and 5 to 7 minutes. But nothing longer than 7 plus 3. That's really the maximum. Mule Skinner, good to have you back for holiday vacation. Right. Alright, I've got to play something fun. King's Gambit. Mule Skinner does play e4, e5. I probably... No, he doesn't. He plays the French. So much for that theory. The King's Gambit's not going to happen here. I forgot, yeah, he plays the French. We've only played 200 plus games. It's just been a while. He hasn't been on the stream lately. And I don't play e4 as much as other openings, so... It's early in the morning for me, too. Any suggestions? French just takes the fun out of chess, honestly. Bogs it down and makes it closed. I don't like closed positions. Mule Skinner loves closed positions, so I want to play something, you know, that keeps it, kind of keeps it open. I like c4 generally. Something with c4 to open the game. But anyways, I want to play something fun. I don't know what to play. g4. The Grob. Grob! We've got to play something fun. Let's play the best Grob. Be the best Grob we can be. Delayed Grob. The Grench. Half Grob, half French. I'm getting a little silly here, but okay. This idea of playing g4 is used sometimes. Instead of g3, maybe not on move 2. It's not that ridiculous. It's just a little ridiculous. Yeah, this is probably not great, but alright, we're going to give it a try. If he plays h5, I can take it. He can't really play h5. I just take... I can hold the pawn. You know, I was wondering if he could play h5, like take bishop e2, queen h4, something like that, trying to surround the pawn. Supporting this Grob like g5 advance. Very key. One of the hardest things to learn in chess is learning to coordinate pawns with your pieces, I think. Understanding pawn play is probably the most difficult thing in the game. It takes the most time for people to master. I mean, I got to play in this position so that my pawns, you know, aren't just like a big overextended weakness. In a lot of closed Sicilians, we're going to be playing g4 type ideas. It's also important to know your opponent. If you know your opponent, you can understand what kind of position they like to play, they don't like to play. Part of my game is based on trying to make my opponents uncomfortable. If I can prepare, I try to play positions they don't like. Like Mule Skinner prefers closed games, so this wasn't really a great choice. But frankly, it's hard to get an open game against the French, period. I would probably play like e4, e6, c4. But I've been playing that normally, so I wanted to play something different. Now the queen trade looks really bad. not much dynamism to pawn takes pawn, queen d1, king d1 here. It's not a good position for me. This isn't too bad. It's kind of like a King's Indian attack. Probably black is already slightly better, based on the fact that he has excellent control of d4. Knight f6, is he going to take with the pawn? Well, anyway, I don't really want to trade pieces here, necessarily. Oh, there's actually snow on the cars there. Man, it's like green here, like the hills of Ireland. Very, very mild. We never go below freezing. It's only once been like a little dusting of snow. Global warming, definitely in effect. But it never gets very cold in Hungary. Knight c6. Alright, time to get going here. I'm going to drop a pawn or two. Seriously. Knight e2 I would like to play, but it's not working. Alright. Pawn wedge. 30 Celsius. It's a livable temperature in Mumbai. We had an earthquake yesterday. It was in Croatia, but we felt it all the way in Budapest. That was like the first time I've ever really consciously felt an earthquake. It was pretty tragic. It destroyed a whole village near Zagreb. No, I'm in Budapest, but we felt it all the way up here. I mean, it's crazy. We weren't even in like the region where the earthquake was really powerful. It was bizarre. I thought I was having a dizziness like spell or something. It was like my head was like moving side to side, and I was like, "What's going on? Am I gonna like fall down or something?" It happened twice before I realized that something weird was going on. I've been living in Hungary since a long time, since like 2004. Not living here year round, but I mean I've been basing myself here. I used to go back to the United States when there wasn't a pandemic, but this year's been rough. I haven't been home since, I haven't been back to the United States since last November. What am I gonna do? So bishop e7, h4. I guess h4. Protect pawns with pawns. I always get, that's my number one question. Why do you live in Hungary? Lower cost of living here. I'm avoiding Al-Qaeda. I hate Donald Trump. I have all these like different answers. Like, basically the reason why I moved to Hungary was to play chess. It's a great country for chess tournaments. All right, Queen c7. What are we gonna do? I come for the earthquakes. So my bishop on e4 is pivotal. I came for the earthquakes, but stay for the lower cost of living. Queen c7. What are we gonna do? Seriously, knight f3 leaves my bishop kind of like likely to get trapped, but we'll do it. I don't want this bishop getting trapped by like f5 or something. I can always take. I could always take the knight on c6 if I have to. I'm a professional chess coach, so I teach chess online. That's my job. Government investigation into Paprika. I'm with the CIA. Sometimes in moments of desperation, I had thought of going to the embassy and asking for a job. They were hiring drivers last year at the U.S. Embassy. Pretty good salary, but honestly, I've never I've never driven here. I would feel weird about driving. I don't want to have a car in the city. I didn't want a car in the city in the United States either. Hey Trouts, what's up? Where are you at, man? The ambulance sirens are worse now with COVID. It was already bad before that, but I came to Hungary for the louder ambulance sirens. That's been an ongoing joke. Not as bad in the winter time with the window closed. I just never really noticed like ambulance sirens living in Boston. Here it's like all you hear. I can't even open the window. It's so loud. I live in a street where they use my street. A lot of cars use my street as a sort of cut through. AKA the business is raiding with a party of 6. Thanks to the raid. This is a good move. Black now has play along the C file. I'm pretty much paralyzed with that. Damn. That's not really what I had hoped for. This is like an insane move, King D1. Totally stupid. Totally stupid idea. Defending the base of my pawn chain. It would have been better to just sacrifice it, but I didn't. I'm low on time, talking too much, and I got down to 9 seconds, and I'm starting to panic. It's a very bad idea, obviously, to play King D1. Chess Murph. Thank you for the raid, aka the business. Man, Mule Skinner is brutal. He wouldn't let me get to the position I wanted. Man, this is horrible. I should have just sacrificed my c-pawn. Any more over the board chess? Oh god. I was invited to a tournament. I was asked if I was interested in playing in a tournament at the end of the month. Well, I guess like coming up soon. I was like, no. I'm not gonna play. Not with the situation the way it is now. Dude, Mule Skinner is like a grandmaster. Damn. He got faster. Holy crap. Lucky to stay alive here. He has a check on a4. My god. That's a good move. It's kind of violent, you know, the name Mule Skinner. My king was not a happy camper in this game. We've almost got away. It was terrible. For those of you that don't know what I do, on Wednesdays I play experimental openings. So this wasn't like a standard position. I'm playing weird stuff here. I played g4 against the French. It's pretty strange sort of setup. Wait here. Dropping a key pawn though. We've played this guy a few times. As you can see, only 250 games. So I can trust him. He's definitely not using an engine. After 250 games, we tend to trust our opponents. But we haven't played in a while. It's kind of weird when I haven't faced someone. I sort of forget how they play even after 200 games. Damn, he's really tough. Quick moves. Did you see that threat, or was it just a coincidence that you defended against Queen E8? That's weird. It almost felt like a coincidence. I think he's actually trying to attack me. He accidentally defended against mate with A5. But I think the intention of the move was actually to cut me off so I couldn't... He could play A4 and go after my king. Wow. Defending and attacking at the same time. Just fearless. This looks like a good idea. Why is his king never in danger? Doesn't seem fair. Never in danger. Damn you, Skinner. I think that was a very bad game by me. We're lucky to win. Alright, I've got challenges from subscribers. They play first. And then we'll take the other challenges. There's a crazy challenge here from some guy. 16, 13 rated. Okay. Sure. Maybe next year. Alright, I've got challenges from Sadamasa Ams. These guys are subscribers. Followers only chat got us paralyzed. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get a lot of complaints about it, but if we had a moderator, they would have maybe turned it off. But nobody's here today. Our moderators are not in, and I'm busy playing. Sorry about that. We've got Ams, Sadamasa. So let's take Sadamasa. Didn't kill the raid hype though. Thanks for the raid. I definitely mentioned it. No, I'm not happy with this win. That wasn't a very clean game. I had a horrible position. My king on D1. It's not good. I totally lost control of the position A. Like I had no time. I'm lucky I didn't lose. That was not good. So B3. We face this almost every day. Okay, by different players. It's very common now. Trying to come up with something new is not easy here. Against this opening. It's almost standard. It seems like I face B3 literally every stream. Running out of ideas. Let's try F6. Kill the intention of the thing like right from the beginning with the nullifying F6. B5, that's a weird idea. A5, Warnaki, I have played on a regular basis. That's almost a normal move for me. But I think we just did H5 against G3 a minute ago, so. I don't want to get carried away. Eddie the E-pawn. F6 nullifies BB2. We just have to worry about development. Of course we can do knight H6. Yeah, C6 is consistent. Blinky and Clyde, I just realized you're a Pac-Man reference. That's funny. Alright. Ghosts. Pac-Man Ghosts reference. What are the other Pac-Man Ghosts? I get confused and forget sometimes. Can anyone name all the Pac-Man Ghosts? D3. I've never streamed video games. I've toyed with the idea of doing it, but I'm not that great of a gamer, so... I would be better off streaming poker, but I stopped playing online. I'd be more qualified to stream poker than video games. I could stream video games. I mean, pretty much anybody does. I've thought about it. You know, I do play video games, but I'm not a gamer. It's an idea, but chess is my love. If I stream Pac-Man. So we've got a reverse King's Indian. This is maybe not an issue with that pawn. Reverse samish King's Indian. How often is that going to happen when you play b3 on the first move? I know exactly what I'm doing now because I played this opening with white extensively. But he's actually... I mean, who plays b3 and transposes to the King's Indian? Sada Masagana. How do you play b3 and know how to transpose to a King's Indian? Are you Hikaru Nakamura? Or what? Hikaru Nakamura in disguise. That's impressive. Vinner 18, Nimzo Larson doesn't give white an advantage. Yeah. I wouldn't call it losing its advantage. It doesn't have an advantage. Like a lot of openings, you're forfeiting your opening advantage immediately. I know because I've played it before. Yeah. But I mean, the problem is that most standard openings no longer lead to an advantage either. So it almost doesn't matter what you play. That's kind of like, I think, Magnus Carlsen's sort of guiding philosophy in the opening. He's come to the conclusion that he might as well play things like the London system, because at the end of the day it doesn't matter. You can't get an advantage anyway. White's play here, impressive. But I can't imagine someone starting the game with b3. I'm trying to think now. Maybe you play the King's Indian with black. No. What was that, actually? What is your repertoire with black? There was a King's Indian with black? There was, so you do play the King's Indian with black. That makes sense. So he actually plays the King's Indian with black. He's turned this into a King's Indian. Now what am I going to do? b5? That's my positional idea. I'm just not sure if it works tactically or not. Not really, you know. He's not calculating. This c5 move is probably a mistake. He misses opportunity there to play knight to g5. After knight g5, it looks like black's just in trouble. I was like one move short on what I needed to do to consolidate my space advantage. This is not so easy for white to make use of, this protected pass pawn on c5, in my experience. While normally a theoretical advantage, this type of structure, my pawn chain is devastatingly strong. This pawn becomes kind of liability on b4. He has to keep that protected by pieces all the time. which sort of ties him down slightly. The missing link here is this knight on f7. The advantage is there. Yeah, there's less theory. But it's becoming really popular. I mean, that's the point where you gotta stop playing, I think, stuff that's meant to be a surprise, but it's not anymore. You know, the London system went through this phase where, oh, it's a cool idea, Magnus is playing it, no one knows it that well, no one's expecting it. You know, now everybody expects it, it's all anybody plays. At that point, you need to bail out and find something new. When surprise weapons become predictable, you know, they're no longer even valuable. The B3 is like, I'm seeing it every day, like all the time. Presumably because Hikaru plays B3 a lot, and he's so popular of a chess streamer, but it's getting kind of played out now. It's good enough though that it's, I guess you can keep playing it. It's not fundamentally bad. Yeah, well, Dubov is, I think, related to Morozevich somehow. But he's been working with a lot of strong players, I guess. Yeah, he's from the creative school, which I respect. You've even seen too many England gambits. Warnaki, what's the explanation for that? Does somebody play the England gambit? I hope like Eric Rosen isn't promoting playing the England gambit or something. Destroy a whole generation of chess players by encouraging them to play garbage. No, I mean, White, wow. Really knows what he's doing. He acts like he plays this every day. Well, this is certainly not a draw, man. I mean, this is a very imbalanced and kind of weird position. I would never call it a draw. It's unlikely to be a draw. You have total imbalance in the pawn chain. The pieces are pretty wildly placed around the board. It's in a kind of momentary peaceful period, but I don't think that this is a position I would necessarily expect to be a draw. It is kind of closed momentarily, but I think the positions that are symmetrical are more likely to be draws. You got a quite imbalanced situation with the pawns here. The larger pawn chain is good for me, but he has this protected pass pawn here on c5, which is an asset. It's just hard to break through. Maybe rook a4. It's good to see Alms, though. You got this new England gambit 10 times now. Oh no. God. The guy, he's not promoting good chess. He's just trying to, like, get views on YouTube. I mean, whatever. Selling yourself out. Selling chess out, basically. He's trying to make chess fun. I mean, that's ridiculous. You can quote me on that. Chess was not meant to be fun. It's a war. He's trying to market his chess stream to like 6-year-olds who are playing in their first tournament. I mean, that's basically his audience. You know, that's not my interest. I try to be, I'm a serious chess player who plays in international tournaments, and most of my students are advanced. I have no interest in teaching people to play bad openings, you know? That's not what I'm here for. Man, this guy is suddenly very strong. This is the most uncomfortable I've felt against this player in the games we've played thus far. He seems to be much more scary than he was before. And also faster. No, I mean, I'm serious. Eric Rosen's whole thing is like marketing himself to scholastic kids who are 6 years old. That's most of his audience. That's his business. You know, he's teaching little kids. He goes to the Scholastic Championship, whatever, you know. But real tournament chess players can't be playing stuff like that. What is going on with this guy? Who is this guy? Damn, he just became like a master. Wow, I'm just in big trouble. He's not even interested in the tactics, though. He's playing completely on position and time. He's missed several tactics because he's not even looking for it. Positionally, he's really good. Whoa. Oh my god. What? Yeah, I mean, you had me. He's very fast. He has a good positional sense. But he's just not calculating. A couple of points, I should have been dead. Yeah, I mean, I was toast there. Nice game. He had me completely. Knight takes b5 at one point. That was an excellent game. White doesn't deserve to lose. I made a big... Well, I mean, at one point I did a lot of videos on the Scandinavian with knight f6. But not like queen takes d5. But that's a long time ago. Basically, my videos on knight f6 Scandinavian were probably in the early 2000s. I don't really recommend it. It's not that great. But again, we're going back to a time when, you know, there wasn't as much knowledge. That opening, the Scandinavian with knight f6, for example, it's probably good for Blitz and Rapid. I gave up playing it in serious games because it's just like too easy for White to get a good position. There's too many good lines. At the time I made the videos, I was still playing it. There was still some hope, but at some point I realized the knight f6 Scandinavian is just not, it's not good enough. It's not even as good as the queen takes d5. Again, another opening where the point was people didn't know it. You know, if people don't know it, it becomes better than it should be. Alright. I'm going to take the challenge from Oms and the other guys. Yeah, I mean, if I wanted to have more viewers on YouTube, I would make garbage videos about gambit openings that suck. But I'm just too honest to do that, you know. Sensational. It's almost like fake news. It's basically like fake chess news. You know, it's like people selling hydrochloroquine or whatever as a cure for COVID. I could sell lots of videos and merch and stuff and promote it, but it's better to. I feel better about, you know, imparting knowledge that's correct. I'm also not really teaching 6-year-old kids, you know, and trying to make chess fun. So, yeah, I mean, it's fun, and that's cool. Whatever. I don't mean to be overly critical, but I'm a very serious chess player. I guess I'm too serious to some degree. But I mean, especially with beginners, you know, you may be creating like bad habits for the rest of their lives if you teach them to play unsound stuff. And you're going to be influencing them forever. So it's hard to unteach bad habits in chess. White played the Grob. Alms is a good player. We haven't seen him around in a while. Candidate Master. He's playing a King's Indian attack, essentially, with his pawn on g4 instead of g3. The Grob. If the pawn is on g3 and the white pawn is on h2, we have a kind of standard setup for white. Let's say e4 instead of g4, and the pawn back on h2. I mean, I don't mean to diss Eric Rosen too much, but it goes against my standards. When people start playing trashy openings in serious chess, I know that it's coming from somewhere. Now multimedia is so vast. There's so many places to get information about chess. You've got to be careful. What you're learning from is a reliable source. b4. Okay, so I didn't really want to give up my pawn on c5, but I'm going to do it. This b5 push kind of bothers me. I'm going to play b5 myself. It's a little like last game where I played b5. His king side is messed up. You know, other than that, his position is okay, but this here is hard to correct. That's going to be a problem later on. He's trying to play the King's Indian attack. It's funny that in our game, Mule Skinner says position after black move 9 had appeared before, black being 2700. Mule Skinner, wait a minute. Oh, really? We must have transposed. I'm telling you, I've seen a g4 idea against the French. That's why it didn't come out of the air, but I'm sure that the game only transposed after move 4. Normally, white plays e4, e6, knight c3, d5, like, maybe, how's this going to work? Well, at least knight c3 first, and then g4. Okay, so move 3. Let's say I'm supposed to do it on move 3. Yeah, I've seen that. That's where I got the idea, essentially. Yeah, I was losing last game, completely. But his king side is ruined here with the g4. Ams is a good player, but he's playing you know, weird opening in the spirit of the stream. He doesn't normally play like this with white. Right. No, I mean, Rosen is a decent player, but his influence is a little out of control on these people, you know? It's chess. It's not like, you know, he's a world leader or something, so what can we do? But you know, there's a lot of people playing the Stafford Gambit who think that they understand what they're doing, you know, is good, and it's not. They're going to have to, like, relearn chess openings at some point. What's up, Nils? Would you like to relearn chess openings? Knight h4. Check this out. Into the diagonal of doom. That is a crazy move. A crazy, crazy move. Calmly refute this. Can we say a few words about Carlsen's chess tour, which has recently gone? The C moves, or what's it called? Earth moves? I can't remember the name of the tournament again. Seeing things? Can you think of a more stupid name for a company? Or a more stupid name for a tournament? Air things? How stupid does that sound? I'm just saying, you know, it sounds absurd. They need to put a little more thought into the names of their tournaments, you know, honestly. I guess they just don't care, but it just sounds corny. Alright, anyway. What are air things? We already had this discussion like a couple days ago. Some sort of units that radiate the air or something. Wow, you gotta admire Oms for knight f5. This reminds me of a game I lost yesterday. Man, that's an awesome move. He totally takes the initiative here. Damn, dude. Great positional sacrifice. Probably I'm still winning, but I have to be very careful. Because the threat of knight e4 is... I don't know why it has to have a corny name to be successful. I would think a cool name would have done better. But that's just me. I think it might be successful despite the bad name. But just because the company is called that, I guess they have to call it the Air Things Masters. It's majorly stupid sounding. Returning the piece is the problem is that this is hanging too. It's an idea. I can play knight f5 maybe. White also has bishop takes c6. This is a tricky situation. I'm leaning toward keeping the material, maybe playing bishop d5 here, but I have another issue. Bishop d5, knight d5, queen b3. I gotta be very careful not to lose a piece here. And I'm probably losing a couple of pawns at the minimum. You know, it's very possible that white is better. I missed knight f5. But I mean, what can I do? Wow, that's a brilliant idea. A piece sacrifice for one pawn, but he has this brutal lock with the pawns on g4 and f5. Oms is a good player. He's horsing around in the opening just for fun. But that's, you know, part of the fun of the stream. I try to play creative stuff. This was not expected. I thought he would take and play queen b3. h6 is hanging, obviously. But actually, he doesn't have a lot here now, you know? It doesn't seem like he has any, like, really active threats. Momentarily. I could take, at the very minimum, on e4. These pawns are really annoying. Hard to get out from under that. You can also play f4, try to up the ante on the king side. Giving the piece back is a good idea, of course. We have to be practical sometimes. I always hate to lose the initiative. You know, I'm not really a material grabber. I'm the opposite. I would prefer to sacrifice material than to take it in most cases, but I didn't really have a choice here. No, I'm very critical of the online tournaments. I want chess to go back to normal. I like serious chess with real time controls. I don't want chess to be cheapened by, you know, chess becoming like standardized to playing 10 plus 15 or something like that. It would be easier for people like Magnus to make money off chess, maybe. If 10 plus 15 tournaments become the standard, we can make more and more more and more tournaments. People who are not involved in chess don't know the difference, what real chess is or not. But purists like myself, we're a little sad to see chess turn into a blitz game. Yeah, this is unpleasant. Man, he's got a really nasty compensation here. Now h6 is targeted, and I don't know how to protect. This has to go. I should have just taken it straight away. I shouldn't have messed around. I lost the tempo. Like, even playing bishop, well, maybe not. I would have had to defend h6 anyway. But clearly I have to do it this way. It looks like the only option. He has tremendous compensation even here. It's incredible. What an awesome positional sacrifice for white. Yeah, it's awful. Vintner, you have a good idea to maneuver the knight to g8, but my king is even worse on h8. I wanted to play it, but the h file won't be safe for my king. My king is already in a bad place. Probably, I don't know, I might be able to put it on f8 in some positions, but I'm actually in serious trouble here. It's possible that white is like winning. Almost winning or winning in this position, it feels like. I'm a pessimist by nature. And oftentimes, like, I assume that I'm lost when I'm not. Yeah, man, this is brutal. Wow. I'm just like in a defensive ball. It's unbelievable how strong the pawn on f5 is. He's playing down a piece and he's like crushing me. Like, what the heck is up with that? He's playing me piece odds and crushing me. Dude, what is this? Seriously, knight h4, knight f5. Who the heck would play knight h4 in this position? That's mental. That's unbelievable. Like, you play like a crazy move and then you crush me. It's like, I don't even understand how you can put your knight on h4 in this position. This is unbelievable. Wow. And that's it, man. It's like a nightmare for me now, after knight f5. Black has to be extremely careful. It's very possible I shouldn't even take it. Maybe I should play, like, I don't know. Bishop g5 or something. That sucks too because of knight f3. This is unbelievable. I mean, it's luck to an extent, but I mean, to understand that you have to play knight f5, and what do I do? What do I do here? It's a freaking nightmare. In all variations, my position is like a disaster. So I take, you take with the e-pawn. I played the correct move according to the engine, bishop d5, and now knight e4. I kind of think I should have just taken right away. Ams hasn't been on my stream in like months, and he like just drops by and crushes me. See you later. Nice seeing you. Great, man, thanks. Drop by and crush me some other time, right? When you get a chance. So I hesitated here and played bishop g7. You know the saying. I mean, white's compensation is brutal. He has one pawn for a piece, and the engine has it at like 0.9 if I play perfectly. Damn. That's kind of crazy, you know. Thanks for the donation, man. So I hesitated with bishop g7. I should have just taken right away, but it's still not easy. I still have the same problems. This, the pawn from hell on f5. He would have done the same thing he did in a game, take with the d pawn to kind of keep control of this. If black defends perfectly, you know, you may be winning, but you have to defend perfectly here. The 1 or 2 inaccuracies and I'm getting crushed along the h file. That's a nice game, man. Alright, well, that wasn't fun. This guy just keeps challenging me. Who's challenging me to the ridiculous time control? 16 plus 13, what? Is that lucky? Are you lucky numbers? 5-3 through 7 plus 3. Nice game by Alms. Sort of. That was a good example of, you know, practical defense in a bad opening. He had a bad position, found the idea of knight f5, and it just worked. Yeah, Leela asks sack. It's an awesome positional sacrifice. You see it sometimes in the Sicilian. This was sort of a Sicilian. Virat Carlson, Dumb Saint. I'll take these challenges next. Good to see you, Dumb Saint, along with Alms. I hope you don't do the same thing as Alms did. Stop by my stream after months and then just crush me. Not a very nice way to say hello. After all that time. So c65, Caro-Kann. Everybody knows how to play the Caro-Kann. I'm trying to think of something creative. Oh yeah, okay. The Burmakin defense. I don't know what this is really called. There's this Russian grandmaster, Vlad, who's my blackjack buddy. Vlad's a very solid player, but he plays this Caro-Kann with h6. I was thinking, what can I think of, you know, that's kind of off the wall. The Vulcan hello. Wait, where did that come from? I missed something. It went right over my head. No problem at all. What's the Vulcan hello? Oh, the structure in the last game was Vulcan hello. We always have some Star Trek reference in this nerd stream. Scotty's ashes. Oh, Alms came and crushed you. Live long and prosper. h4 was Virat Carlson's reaction. Be careful with g5. I've been known to play it. This is not about playing g5, although I guess you could, you know, at some point. h4 is a violent reaction. You better not, like, you better be careful with your vaccinations. You seem to have violent reactions. I would take care with that. h4. All right. So I wonder about trying to make h4. Well, trying to make h6 work to my favor here. He can't play knight g5 at any point. Well, the main thing is bishop f5, bishop h7, I guess. I actually had a game like this that transposed, strangely, to the main line. I was a tempo up or something, though. That's funny. I never bothered to pay attention to titles of episodes of TV shows too much. No problem at all. I probably saw that episode of Star Trek Discovery a few years ago, but didn't realize. I would never remember something like that. So I saved the tempo in some way, or not. The second time something like this has happened with the Burmakin variation. What do you think of players studying creative opening with analysis from these virtual new neural network engines like Lila? Well, I think studying openings with an engine, virtual neural network, quote unquote, program or whatever you want to call it, is probably great. It has a lot of new ideas. You can find new ideas for sure that haven't been discovered. I do think you have to be, good enough to appreciate. You probably have to be above a certain level to really appreciate how to use it. But in theory, yes. Good answer. Oh, you said it's theory, I think. The question is, am I a tempo up or something because I played bishop f5, bishop h7 in one move? Only if he plays h5, maybe. I guess if he doesn't play h5, he doesn't waste the tempo. Well, I mean, discovering new ideas is important in the openings. It doesn't matter how you discovered it. Bishop f4. Everybody knows how to play the white side of the Caro-Kann. Bishop f4, queen a5 check, bishop d2, queen c7. That's how the last game went in a variation of this order. But my other opponent a couple weeks ago may have played h5. And Cheaperspieler pointed out, he was like, oh, I think you're a tempo up. But I guess if white doesn't play h5, like there was no bishop g6, h5, bishop h7, I don't really save time. I can't remember that last game, though, if white in fact played h5 or not. For all I know, it was the same line, the same guy. No, I was white against Vera Carlson. We did not play before in the Caro-Kann. I get confused by things like half moves. Does it transpose to a normal position? Theoretically, okay, c4 is a little early here, but it's probably okay. I don't really want to play e5. I guess I can castle queenside, but I don't really want to castle queenside till I know what you're doing. So I'm going to play e6. One thing, you don't want to let white play d5 too early. You could break up your whole position. Caro-Kann is incredibly popular, and a lot of people know how to play it with white at every level. Even 1200s seem to know 20 moves of theory. So he castled kingside. This is pretty unusual in this type of variation, where you've played h4 to castle kingside. Not completely unheard of. But now, I mean, I have to think, well, speaking of g5, I mean, will that be an option for me later, to play g5? But I don't know if I want to put my king on the queen side here. I should probably castle kingside, objectively. Black is probably equalized after this move. I don't know if we can claim an advantage of any kind. You might say that white's kingside is weakened, but it's not that big a deal. Yeah. I was thinking bishop f4. I was thinking... Fantasy Caro-Kann. I mean, I guess the sensible thing to do is to play knight takes knight. I could play bishop f4. My concern was bishop c3. He doesn't exchange pieces. And black is equal. But this is not a very exciting position. Playing for a win here is pretty much like... Speaking of fantasy, even c5 is an interesting move for white now. Grabbing space, that's probably a computer move. Maybe I regret not playing knight f6 or... Although knight f6 can be overrated. If he plays c5, I play bishop e7, bishop f4, and I'm very passive. Queen d8. Queen g4 is no good. Queen g4 is a waste of time. Like a one-move threat. Not a good idea. I guess he theoretically can play like g4, g5, go crazy now. But if I'm alert, I don't think you should get away with that. c5 makes a lot of sense. To strike in the center. Bishop f4 maybe. Trading pieces. I can play even h5 at some point to try to lock down the g4 square so he can't play g4. Seriously, h5's an outside the box kind of move. Maybe it's not good though. I mean, maybe knight g5 for white. Maybe it's too much. It's a little too much. He is playing like Carlsen though. It's a strong 1800. I have a terrible score with this opening. It's hard to play for a win. It's not that dynamic. But I don't know, I keep playing it anyway. I think I won like 2 games my entire life playing the Caro-Kann. Probably. And I've won like 1,000 playing the Sicilian. Yet I continue to try to do it. It doesn't suit my style as well, I guess. Could you play a game where you put both bishops in the same corner of the board, facing the enemy kingside? Chess 960 would be my guess of what you're referring to. It's a variant, essentially. This is kind of disturbing. It's another variant of chess. But he blundered. Positionally, white played great. You know, a little bit sketchy about whether queen g4 was a good idea. But even that was okay, I think. His only mistake is like dropping material here. I played rook e8 to enable myself to play f6 to get the knight out of my face. You looked up what? The defense I played here? With h6? Or what are you talking about? Bishop takes f6 now? I have a move there. It's not great though. He has bishop f6. He saw it. Wow. How strong is this guy? It's a strong 1800. It's a draw. Maybe he'll beat me in this endgame. It's pretty standard. I mean, like, anybody can draw this position in their sleep. It's weird, I was winning, and then, like, all hell broke loose. He started to play like God. I'm completely winning. And then all of a sudden, I thought he wasn't that good tactically, but he saw everything. D5, bishop takes f6. I was winning here. This is a huge, massive blunder. Rook d8. Just blew the whole game in one move. I even pointed it out for him. I mean, bishop takes f6, but nobody's going to miss that, you know. You can't miss that move. But the opening was weird. There's no games. Now transposed. So somehow we transpose back into a normal line. Check, bishop d2. This is unusual, c4. But castle's kingside, like, nobody plays that. It's really weird. Extremely weird to castle kingside. The engine wants to play it, though. That's Stockfish's #1 move. That's strange. Now it changed its mind, though. Came to its senses and played... No, it wants to play castle's kingside. That's the engine move. Apparently. That didn't like queen g4. This is also best. Bishop c3. And he just blundered. I thought white was a little bit better in this critical position where he blundered the tactic. Dumb saint. Same problem I encounter. I'm an 1850. When I play higher rated players, I tend to win. Like players, people rated the same as me, I lose. That's not really a problem. That's probably a good thing. If you can beat the higher rated players, it sounds like a matter of overconfidence to me. Like you're too overconfident, or you're taking the lower rated players less seriously. You know, it just sounds like You should be beating the low-rated players. You're more motivated, and you're not taking the low-rated players seriously. You're more motivated against the stronger players. I should be playing weird openings. I did. Okay, I played h6, but it became a mainline Caro-Kann. Alright, we'll try to play something different. The advanced variation. So, not a lot of cool stuff you can do here. I like to play knight h6 on move 1 for fun, though, so we can play the... The only game where this was played was in a Carlsen game, ironically. It's Katarina Leno versus Carlsen. I play knight h6 on move 1 sometimes, just for fun. Call it my own pet opening. But it's hard to create a new idea for black in the advanced Caro-Kann. Knight h6 is probably not too bad. Carlsen drew. It was an old game from like 2004 or maybe later, but it wasn't very recent. It was a long time ago. The one game I've seen where this was played, Carlsen was just messing around against a weaker master and couldn't win. He wasn't that strong back then. I don't know when it was. Maybe 2007. BD3. What about C5? I mean, one of the main lines is to play C5 now on move 3. Traditionally, bishop F5. Knight H6 kind of can work with pretty much a lot of different setups, so this is probably okay, I guess. Knight G4. That doesn't look quite right. I don't know if this is really going to work out or not. Let's see. First knight C6. Warnacki. No. This is an advanced Caro-Kann. White plays E5. Gaining space. Nothing to do with the Panov. Panov is white plays exchanging pawns in C4. Completely different setup. Knight H6 is waiting for a moment for later. Please wait. And just trying to stay out of the way. His job is to just stay out of the way. He'll stay out of the way on H6 till he gets the moment to come to F5. I hope that white takes it, though. A3. But maybe we have something. Yeah, there's some tricks, though. Knight E5, Knight E5, Bishop D1, Bishop E5 check. Nasty little trick. It's very tempting, but I have problems. So let's say I play E6. Then you play B4, defending your pawn, and then I play knight takes E5. And now if you play knight takes E5, bishop takes D1, bishop E5 check, my king can evacuate to E7. So I think the point is you can't protect both of these pawns simultaneously. Knight D5. Knight E5 last move was a trap. No, unless I have some weird move like queen A5 check in between move. Now bishop takes F3, queen F3, knight E5, bishop E5 check. Or should I play knight takes E5 directly? Yeah, actually it's not that great. I mean, he could just play bishop E5 check back again. It doesn't matter. He can always play bishop e5 check, forcing me to retreat my knight. So I don't necessarily double his pawns on f3. There's also some tactics maybe for white here. But I don't see how sacking the queen would work now. He's just traded like the c5 pawn for his central pawn, essentially. But it's still an interesting setup. Maybe white's still better. He has this powerful pawn on c5. He can try to attack my center with c4 and destroy my d5 strong point pawn. Not in love with this, actually. Even my last move. The real danger is h3, g4. He can start running away with it. Now knight f5, h3. I have to give up my... The bishop's too strong on b2. I'm going to give him that. Exchange. You would castle here queenside with bishop h6. I mean, if that happens, you know, all options are still on the table in those kind of structures. If you have bishop takes h6, theoretically, it's not automatic that I'm going to castle queenside. In that type of structure, there's still a chance I could castle kingside and have my king on h8, for example. Maybe not in this type of position where his pawn's on c5 and his bishop is like strafing the long diagonal. But alright, maybe, you know, the most likely plan would be along those lines. Yeah. So this is just kind of a weird position. Again, the pawn on c5 is pretty strong, but I do have a center. Now what do? I don't want my knight to get trapped on h6 forever. That's my biggest issue. This didn't work out really well. You know, it's kind of a fail for me, honestly. The whole knight h6, that's, I guess, why we learned why this isn't a great variation. You know, why does nobody play knight h6? It's just not that easy to get it into this position usefully. It just sat there like a dumb nut on h6. It didn't do anything. Now it finally gets in the game with very little effect. I'll try to play the bishop's opening, but you know, you can't guarantee certain openings. I can't like force my opponent to play e4, e5. A lot of people, you know, I only have like 1 in 5 people who play e4, e5 with black, so it's kind of crazy to expect that. I can try to play bishop's opening, sure. It's not really an unusual opening. Now, let's see. Now knight d4, I guess. His bishop is embarrassed on b5. If you play in the Sicilian, it's not bishop's opening. It's a crappy system in general. Don't recommend it. But I can try. There are some variations where it's not that bad. But I want to point out that the bishop's opening works because of e4, e5. You have access to the f7 square. Playing bishop c4 against the Sicilian is not as good. It's very fundamental. You don't have access to attacking the weakest point on the board on f7. The bishop on c4 has very little effect, unless black accommodates you. It's an important mistake that a lot of people don't understand. Trying to play bishop c4 against the Sicilian doesn't work as well. There's a reason why it's good against e4, e5. The c5 pawn's driving me berserk. It's extremely strong. I'd like to play b6, but I have to be careful that my pawn doesn't get overextended. I mean, his pawn doesn't get passed here. Oh well, I tried to explain it, but sometimes people don't want to listen. Alright, maybe a5. I'm just helping his queenside. See, he's got a queenside majority here. 4-on-2. I'm not sure playing a5 is really going to help me. b6, c6 is interesting. Of course, my knight is precariously placed. This is a very, very tricky position. I'm looking at my pawn breaks. Alright. It's a risky move, a5. Actually, he has c3 now. And on pawn takes pawn, just a takes pawn. And white's still better. He lost on time. No, I think c3, white's still better. Thanks for losing on time. I didn't want to lose. Yeah, c3's best move. I didn't want to lose again to someone I haven't seen in months. By way of Trout. Trout. Thank you, Trout. Good game. So final position, you're still slightly better. I was thinking AB, but you have AB, and then you're going bishop c2 with a mate on h7. And you have a very nasty queenside majority. Dr. Tripchance. Welcome. So, just before we leave this game, I want to check and see if there's been any other developments. So there's another game that I hadn't seen yet. Players I've never heard of. Richard Matheson. A random game that's new. So Katerina played bishop e2. And Trouts is following the newest, latest word on the street. Bishop d3, 2019 was played in the game. Interesting here, bishop g4, the computer wants to play a provocative bishop g4. It's just not clear what it does. I mean, there's no real pin, per se. So knight e2, you're like pinning the air. I feel uncomfortable about that move, so I played what this guy played. So we had exactly the same game, and then this player played bishop takes h6. Cringe. See, this is exactly what you're not supposed to do. This player is supposed to be 24-24, and they played bishop takes h6. That makes me want to, like, vomit. It's such a bad move. It's frightening to me that a 2400 player played bishop takes h6, giving up their dark squared bishop. It's a disgrace. Like, that's a terrible move for white. Even Trotz is what, 1800. He knows not to play this move. How can this player be 24-24 and play bishop takes h6? It's unbelievable. You're left with like weaknesses all over the place for the rest of your life. Of course they didn't win the game after bishop takes h6. Trouts improves on theory with the novelty knight f3. Maybe the best move, actually. Alright. Novelty. Trout's improvement. I mean, black's position after bishop takes h6 is what you're playing for. It's ridiculous that white would play that. It's probably some kid who doesn't understand chess, but he's very good tactically. With FIDE ratings, sometimes people get pretty high, and they're not that good yet. Maybe he has provisional rating, but he's really not that strong. I just can't imagine a 2400 player playing this move. It's like a positional blunder. Wow. That's... I would just be like... My head would explode if one of my students did that and they were over 2200. It's a really bad move for white. Alright, Alexander and Play Like Kasparov. I've got 2 challenges, so both of you guys have established accounts. We played Play Like Kasparov before. Playing unusual openings today. Well, that's why I'm playing knight h6 on move 1. I'm hoping that people play bishop takes h6, acerbate, that misunderstand the position. I mean, I'll truthfully answer. I've had IMs and even like grandmasters play moves like that against me. Not often, but it happens. All right. While we're on the subject, we'll try it. You know, now that we're on the theme of bishop takes h6. I play this for fun. I have a lot of experience playing this move. Not very often on my stream. I don't pretend to say that this is a correct move. You know, it's incorrect, but I play it to take people out of theory. So we play one dubious move. We're intending to get our opponents out of preparation by playing one intentionally not good move. But I know how to play optimally after that for the most part. So, now if c6 we transpose, but the point is the c6 isn't my best move here. I should play c5 right away. We have essentially an improvement on my last game. I've gained a move. That's the entire premise to my opening. Alexander's e5 is a mistake. It's just an inaccuracy. You know, white should probably play some other sort of setup. So similar to the game with Trout's, very similar. cd4 gives him a good square for his knight at c3, so this is suboptimal. But it still might not be bad. Oh, by the way, e6 is transposing to a mainline advanced French in this position. So French isn't my preference, and again, why play a weird move on move 1 so I could transpose back into a mainline opening? I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense. Bishop g4, d takes c5, knight e5, knight e5. Here we go again. Knight e5, knight e5. He sacks his queen and he wins with bishop e5 check. Bishop d7. I was thinking cd and then bishop g4. There are other options here. cd, bishop g4. Alright, whatever. We'll do it. I don't like giving him a good square for his knight here, but I also don't like him taking on c5. So you can't have everything. I'm making a deal. I'll trade you one advantage for another, essentially. Yeah, I don't like this move for white. I've spoken on this. Bishop h6 is a positional mistake. Now he has problems with the d4 pawn. e6. Queen b6 is interesting. After the b2 pawn. I hate taking b2 pawns. Actually, I'm just kidding. Probably an inaccuracy by me. But now we have a good game. Now white is in trouble, because the base of his pawn chain falls. This is the idea. He should have played knight on bd2. Yeah, prime k 666. Bishop takes h6 is not good. What do we have for lag? Server says 0 milliseconds, but that's what it always says. They're never telling the truth. He loses his pawn chain. I've had a lot of games like this. If you want to play unusual update, go for the London system. No one plays that. Now even like bishop g7 is hasta la vista center. You'd be surprised how many strong players fold and collapse like this. That's why I play this in Blitz. Even Masters title players sometimes just roll over and die. Although I played it against some title players, Knight h6. In my experience so far, a couple of rapid games, mostly. He's 2 pawns down with not enough compensation. Trying to get in knight c5. Well, we can castle queenside. I think it's okay. There may be not, any like entirely safe continuation. He's trying to stop like this, but it's not really a big deal. Maybe white has a strong move now. Knight a5, rook c8 was okay for me. Walter White. Wait, are we talking about some TV show? He doesn't seem to have any immediate tactics. Breaking Bad or something? Walter Cronkite. Yeah, it's in my memory bank somewhere. I only have seen a few episodes. I missed a lot, like living in Hungary. I didn't really watch TV that much. Damn, dude, this is quite a move. Doesn't seem right to play that. Weird game. Knight on d4 is powerful. Leaving his knight on c5 unprovoked. I mean, this is strong too, though. I mean, black should be winning here. I don't know why I'm so scared, but my opponent is like 2260, 2230 in bullet. Yeah, I should probably watch Breaking Bad, but I hate to follow fashion. It's like the London system. I didn't watch like E.T. when it came out. It was against my principles. I hate like jumping on the bandwagon when everybody likes something. Like I haven't watched look at this. He found this move. Damn it. Queen E3. I haven't watched the Queen's Gambit. Everybody's watching it. It's just like I don't want to be like everybody else. I want to be different. Well, I guess great series. If you're like learning English too. A lot of my Hungarian friends learn English by watching American TV. It's a great way to learn the language. I've been pretty busy the last 15 years. Not a lot of time for TV. Alright, so White has a unique style. What am I doing? Two pawns down in an endgame for White. What? Wow. You think White is a little competitive? It's like playing Wiki Poo. Okay. Why would you not resign here? It seems kind of weird. It'd be weird for a master strength player to not resign here. Alright, play like Kasparov, trip chance. We got a bunch of regulars now. I don't know how much time I have left, guys. Only 30 minutes, so I'll play a couple games. We probably have time for two more I gotta get only, it looks like only 2 more games, guys. Gotta go. Show up on time, and you'll have no regrets. Alright. Actually, let's try for the bishop's opening with a3. So what happens here if bishop c4, knight takes e4? Knight takes e4. That might be a strong move, man. Seriously. Friends. I never watched Friends. I've seen episodes of it. I would never like watch it on my own, of my own accord. It's a little too girly for me. Alright, castles. What am I gonna do? It's just not macho enough. Seriously. Breaking Bad sounds better. Bishop a2, castles. Who is Play Like Kasparov anyway? We don't really know. This is a totally new opponent for me. Now you play d5, right? It is basically a Vienna of sorts now. And now what do we do? Breaking Vlad. It's a good one, man. I'm more into sci-fi horror. So Friends doesn't quite cut it, you know. When you like Lovecraftian horror, watching Friends is kind of, you know, it's just happy social shows don't really do it for me. Breaking Bad would be better. I like to watch things, you know, that are a little more dark. Bishop e6 is a solid move. I was thinking, how is he going to support his center? That answers the question. It's a good move. And he's only used 7 seconds for the whole game. It's not like I haven't watched Friends. I mean, I grew up in the 90s. I mean, I grew up whenever. I grew up in the 80s. I lived through the 90s. I lived in the United States until 2004. It's hard to like turn on a TV set for about 15 years there where Friends wasn't on TV. It's not like I never watched it. It just I never really cared about it. I grew up whenever. I don't know. I have to remember what I told people about when I was born and update the lies. Schieberspieler. Exposing the truth. Alright, I don't know what to do. I'm changing pawn structures based on the bishop being on e6. I'm against the bishop on e6. I'm 39, so I'm trying to remember. I have to adapt like when I grew up to the fact that I'm 39. That's the problem. Remembering when I grew up and when it was, what years those were exactly. I sometimes get confused now that I've altered the... Trout's, good to see you. Thanks for the game. This is you? PremK666, is this you? Play Like Kasparov? I'm not sure I put that together yesterday. Or whenever it was. Monday. But it makes sense. I think I had that. Alright. This pawn is strong, man. We've got movie recommendations from Dr. Trip Chance. I'm excited because a new version of The Stand is coming out. Stephen King's epic CBS All Access, I think. It'll probably be bad though. It's become too mainstream. What are we gonna do? I want to play f3, but I'm curious how much that weakens my king side. I think it's a good idea. I was a little concerned about queen b6. I have a tendency to play unnecessary like prophylactic moves like king h1. Alright. Rook takes. Now what do you do? What are you going to do about this pin? A massive pileup on I-95. Bishop f6, knight f4, bishop g4. Losing the exchange would be a great idea. The bishop g4 thing, concerning. It's a little bit concerning. Of course, we could always sacrifice something. I like to play actively. Man, that dark square bishop is strong. It's a strong piece, no doubt. You're funny, Dr. Tripchance. Alright. Now he's tied me down to d4. Not happy. So what does this mean for the future of my position? Are you telling me I'm going to have to do the classic? Because queen b6 can happen, even to good people. Silent green is people. You know, I mean, we've got to play knight d1. That knight is so crappy on c3. I hate the Chigorin. I'm backpedaling. Play like Kasparov. Well, I wouldn't say he's playing like Kasparov necessarily. He's not playing badly. Alright, reinforcements. That bishop is now nullified. You consider yourself nullified, bishop. You've been nullified. I haven't seen the Babadook. I thought about it. I came really close, but then like some reviews look bad. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. It looks... Did anybody watch that? Was it actually any good? I saw very mixed reviews about it. I'm not that hardcore of a horror movie fan. More like sci-fi horror. I don't like watching like Freddy Krueger and Friday the 13th and stuff, or slasher movies. The Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer, that was a B movie. I think I actually watched that. What a stupid concept. That's kind of like Air Things in terms of level of concept. The Air Things masters. B movie. Yeah, I watched that with my kids. I would rather Alright, what's up with your d5 pawn? How's that doing? How's your d5 pawn holding up? Everything's cool? We're coordinating. I don't like this bishop on e4. He's causing all sorts of problems. Yeah, whatever happened to Daniel Day-Lewis? Did he like quit acting? I haven't seen his name in a long time. He didn't like die or something, did he? I have 10 seconds left, so I'm kind of off the movie subject. Yes. Is this queen trapped yet? What a coordination we have here. Dude, where's his queen going next move? It's not. See? I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis is a good actor. That movie, In the Name of the Father, when he broke through, I mean, he's definitely strong. He's like 2,500 in acting. Damn it. What am I doing here? You tricked me with bishop h6? Play like Kasparov is tricking me with sleazy tactics. God. He's the master of sleazy tactics. Wow, this sucks. I'm like totally distracted with movie talk. Very disappointing. He had h4 there and missed it. I don't know how long this has been in the position, but I mean, picking off an exchange there is good. Good for business. Truthfully, I played really kind of crappy in this game. I was probably lost. He had like h4 before. I was talking too much. Not thinking. Now we're gonna win. I look at the graph of this game, it'll be like white, 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 black, 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 white, white, white. He's totally winning in the middle game, in the time pressure. He had h4. Instead of playing queen e3, he could have forked me with knight e3. Though the graph isn't as black as I thought. It's weird. He just had one move. Weird. Bishop h6 here. Queen e3. I thought you had knight e3 now. Apparently I might have had a defense to this. Oh, I had maybe rook e1? Does that work, master? He has bishop f4 there. I don't understand how this doesn't work. Why doesn't 93 like win for black? It does. It's crushing. I mean, 92, 93 is a winning move. Alright, so that was winning move number 1. I missed knight f6 check. God. I left myself with too little time, and I'm like panicking. I think if it was like a bullet game or something, I would be like real intensely aware, but because it's like a long game and I'm talking, I'm not looking for like one move tactics. This is ridiculous. Knight f6 check. Come on. Baby move. Alright, Dr. Chip Chance, last game for today. I gotta go, guys. Video time. I don't think we both played badly in that game. Not just you. I'm talking too much, getting distracted. I really need to focus. So b3, we had this already. See again, the b3, man. It's like everybody plays b3. You'll accept challenges. So don't worry, viewers. Super Spieler is here. I don't know if Jim is here. But we had another player play b3 against me earlier. Masagana. He plays the King's Indian. It was a b3 that turned into a reverse King's Indian. Like, smoothly. He turns like the white side of b3 into the King's Indian without like losing a beat, you know. I never saw anybody do that before. It's kind of weird to play b3 with white and then transpose to a King's Indian defense. That's his repertoire. b3 with white and the King's Indian with black, and then he turns it into a King's Indian somehow. It's really strange. I was like, wait a minute. It turned into a Samish King's Indian reversed. Relax. I'm a little hyper. Anyway, alright, we'll play. We'll try to play something decent. This is not unusual, though. My theme is to play unusual openings. So now it's in English. Well, what can you do? You know, there's nothing creative I can do here for black. Practically nothing. I give up. I mean, there's no way I can play some unusual opening now. Like, people are playing b3 against me every game. Alright, it's essentially like a reverse Sicilian. You want to take back? No. Let's just play. Too late for that. I just wasted like 45 seconds on my move. I should have taken the take back, but no. No, let's just play. a3. It's a reversed Chom. The reversed Chom. Chom Istvan. Grandmaster. Plays a lot of b6 Sicilians. I used to play a lot of b6. That's what this is in reverse. Christian Bauer, the French Grandmaster, also playing b6 Sicilian. Not very common. But this important part of playing b3 is like being flexible and being able to steer it into different kind of setups, I guess. You can't play just one setup. I mean, it's important to have the flexibility to play different kind of formations, I think. If you play any kind of opening, you know, King's Indian attack, whatever it is. If you play the King's Indian, you should be able to play Benoni, Grunfeld, and standard kind of King's Indian setups, I would say. Can I play e4 now? Maybe the better question is, should I play e4? If I don't play e4, what happens? There's some weird variations I'm analyzing. Castles, bishop d3, knight b4, pawn b4, knight b4. Queen c3, knight e4, knight d3, queen d3, e3, queen d4, and he's starting mate on g7. That's disturbing. So if I don't play e4, it's like you're going to play bishop d3 or something. I don't really like that. e4 is committal, but it's like if you don't do it, he plays bishop d3, and then it's hard to deal with that. That's my feeling. Blobix, we miss you. We should get more games with Blobix. Blobix is retired from play. Blobix plays b6 with black. Blobix, you don't play b3 with white? Yes, you do. You play the b3 Sicilian. Do you play b3 straight up? Thanks for subscribing. I can't accept your challenge, whether it's in caps or not. Either way. There's no time. Even if it wasn't in caps, I couldn't accept your challenge. I gotta go after this game. This is my last game for today. But e4, yeah. I don't really want to play this move, but I'm afraid if I castle, he has bishop d3. I guess that's the normal way to play, though. I can castle bishop d3, h6 or something. I don't like it. So you do play b3 on the first move, Blubix? Basically my question. I forgot now. It's been so long since you played with me on my stream. I could not play if b3 or b6 were not existing. Well, I mean, you play it on move 2 or move 3 normally against the Sicilian. Not on the first move. That's my question. I was trying to remember. It's the opposite of Jim. He can play b3 on the first move, but he won't play like the b3 Sicilian. Knight d4, bishop d7 check is unfortunate. Take with the king. It's a weird way of castling queenside. Not really recommended. I guess I'm sacrificing a pawn. That wasn't really the plan. Am I seriously supposed to play knight takes d4 there? And allow my king to go to d7? I guess. Knight d4, bishop d7 check, king d7, bishop d4. It's playable. My king is not that... It's not that vulnerable on d7. But I thought it's unnecessary. I guess we're going to sacrifice a pawn. I forgot that I was sacrificing a pawn here. But remember, his pieces are still largely at home, so we have reasonable compensation for the sacrificed pawn. ET phone home. Masturbate. How to make friends and influence people. Alright, what are we going to do? F5 is begging to be played. I mean, F5 is double-edged. Perhaps we should wait on F5. Please wait. I'll play it when I want to play it. Let's... Hey, I dropped another pawn. I guess the more materialistic among us would not sacrifice the a7 pawn, but at this point I don't think it matters. Either I have an attack or I don't. I want to play f5, f4. I mean, that's crushing if I could get it in. It's not going to be that easy. Among Us. Someone is asking if I stream video games today. I have thought about it, believe me. But I feel like just another noob if I stream video games. Although I probably should mix it in there. We'll see. It wouldn't hurt. I'm a chess player first and foremost. Poker player second, and video games are merely for entertainment. Now, the question is, Queen h5, Queen g4. Watch out for this square, there's no defense of g7. g4 was also possible, but I wanted to restrict... Oh yeah. There's this game, Flash player game, a word game called Hangaroo. Has anybody ever seen it? It's like an old Flash player word game. Somebody I know was playing it the other day, and it has this kangaroo that like says sarcastic stuff. It's like, oh yeah. But it has like an Australian accent because it's a kangaroo. Alright. It sounds similar to me just now. Dude, you're really annoying. I knew that stupid g7 square was going to be a problem. He's only got one pawn though, and he's... What's that? Where are you going? What's queen c4 about? There's some sort of trap or something? What? Weird. Oh yeah. No, he's falling apart. Okay, it wasn't easy to play this position and coordinate for white. I mean, that's not easy. I think that probably he's better, but I'm not sure. It's just not an easy position to play. You have to be a computer to consolidate a position like this. Petrosian maybe with white. Let's see the initial. My initial pawn sacrifice. I'm curious about from the beginning with e4. Is e4 the right move? Surprisingly, there's no games. e4 is the best move according to the engine. And then bishop here I castled. I should just castle immediately. If I'm going to sack a pawn, I might as well. Wow. Okay. Don't know. Oh, I was looking at this. Knight d4, bishop d7, king d7. I seriously considered playing this. But I mean, is it really, like, you know, rational to play with my king on d7? And that's kind of nuts, honestly. Otherwise, I drop e4 with check, so... I wasn't sure, though, you know, how much play I have here. Computer says I'm just winning. Holy crap. That's pretty good compensation, like plus 2.5. I guess king f1 is a mistake, but it doesn't really look like you have a good move. g4 was stronger, but I didn't want to allow h5, h6 for white. Computer wants to take... Schieberspieler, I know you would have taken this pawn. Schieberspieler is going to stream, guys. So... I know he wants to take this pawn. He loves material. I mean, what's one pawn when you can get two? So queen e2 was a blunder for you at the end. Yeah, okay, so it looks like you're alright if you play knight b8. I mean, knight b5. I anticipated I had enough compensation, but I didn't think I was necessarily winning. The materialist is up next. Alright, guys. So queen e2 finally a blunder. After that, I'm better, but I missed something. Queen e5, pinning knight to bishop. Alright, lots of mistakes. Thanks for the game. We'll be back tomorrow night, guys, with a subscriber stream. So if you are a subscriber to my stream, please don't forget. All I want for pawns. Pawns for Christmas. I don't remember either, Schieberspieler, what I said. But Schieberspieler, his secret Santa gave him pawns at school, I think, for Christmas. A lot of materialists out there. I try to fight against materialism. All right, check it out. We'll rehearse it later. Thanks everybody for playing. It was fun, and I'm gonna raid Schieberspieler stream. So we'll see everybody tomorrow night for my subscriber stream. Don't forget to submit a game if you are a subscriber for tomorrow night's analysis stream. Thanks everybody. Bye bye.